Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we would like to discuss about variables. So you know that from the previous episode we initialized and declared two variables for this program to store two numbers. So let me write down in here the title of this episode, and the discussion of this episode is going to be variables. So basically, variables are like placeholders in memory. If you want to do some operation, you need a part of memory so that you can store some data. For example, if you want to do some calculations, you need a part of memory so that you can store your values, your numbers in that area of memory, and then you can do some calculations over those values or over those parts of memory. Basically, that's the same idea with variables. We are taking a part of memory and we are going to specify it, give it a name, give it a type, and then assign a value to that part of memory so it can be stored temporarily in the memory for us so that we can access it and then do some operation on that part of memory, on the value on that part of memory. And that is basically the idea of creating variables. Now here you can see that I have created two variables, num1 and num2. Num1 to store the value of the first number that we are going to provide to this program, and num2 to store the value of the second number that we are going to provide to this program. Now let's see a few properties of variables. So each variable, it has its type. So this is the type of the variable. You can see we are specifying what a type of value is going to be stored in this part of memory. That is going to be an integer value. And integer value, why do we need to specify the type? Because based on the type, the computer is going to assign a specific amount of memory for that variable. So when the computer sees that this is a variable of type integer, it is going to assign 2 or 4 bytes of memory to this variable. We will discuss later on how much memory is required for each type of data. And you see that it has a type. Then this variable has a name. So it has a name, and using this name we are going to refer to this variable throughout this program. So num1 is going to be the name for this variable, and then there is this equal sign. You can see this equal sign is called assignment operator. Assignment operator. Okay, and the job of the assignment operator is that whatever value that you provide on the right of the assignment operator, it will assign that value to the left operand of the assignment operator. So the assignment operator takes two operands. This is the first operand, this is the second operand. It will take the value that is provided for the first operand here in the left of the assignment operator and assign that value to the right, to the variable on the right side of the assignment operator, and this equal is called assignment operator in C programming language. And then we have provided the value, which is 0. And finally, this line of code, this declaration of the variable can be in fact divided into two lines of code. So once we are going to go and declare the variable num1 and the end of statement, and secondly we are going to provide the value of this variable num1 is equal to 0. So this is how this line of code could actually be written into two lines of code. One is the declaration of the variable and the second is the initialization of the variable. Let me write those terms for you so that you can remember them. Declaration and initialization. So now you know the declaration and initialization of variables. in here in this line of code, but both the declaration and initialization has happened in the same line of code, and that is possible as well. And that's it for this episode. Stay tuned as we go through this program and explain to you in more details about this program.